The once thriving cities of Earth now lie in smoldering ruins. Towering skyscrapers, once symbols of human achievement, now lie reduced to jagged remnants of steel and concrete, their structures choked with the blackened remnants of fires that refuse to die. The air is thick with pollution, the sky permanently clouded in a haze of gray and orange. The Earth, once vibrant and full of life, now feels like a barren wasteland under the rule of the Varn Dominion. There's no life in the streets, only the scattered remnants of human civilization, broken vehicles, abandoned buildings, the faintest signs of a resistance that is yet to die. Here and there, pockets of humanity still struggle to survive, small groups hidden away, doing what they can to avoid detection, knowing the price of rebellion is death. But beneath the ruins, hidden in the shadows, whispers of resistance stir. It's faint, like the dying embers of a fire, but there. Humanity's spark has not been entirely snuffed out. Something is waiting to ignite. The world may be smoldering, but Earth's fury is far from gone. It's only just begun to awaken. Inside a labor camp run by the Varn, Lieutenant Maya Cross bends over her work, the weight of her captivity pressing heavily on her. She was once a combat medic, a skilled, fierce soldier who fought valiantly in the war against the Varn. Now she's reduced to a laborer, a tool for their use. The Varn call her emotionally unstable because she carries the trauma of losing her family during a brutal orbital strike. But they underestimate her. They think her broken. They think she's weak. The truth is, Maya is a survivor. Silent, composed, and observant, she watches the Varn closely. Their arrogance, their dismissiveness toward her fuels the quiet rage building inside her. They've tried to break her spirit, but Maya is no stranger to pain. Her family's death, her country's fall has taught her how to endure. It's not weakness that defines her, it's survival. The aliens see only a medic, a valuable tool, nothing more. But Maya knows who she is. She's a woman with a past, a woman with a future, and the Varn have no idea what's coming. The Varn Dominion rules with iron claws. Their presence is suffocating, their culture a cold, unfeeling machine that strips the humanity from all it touches. Humans are nothing more than animals to the Varn, weak, subservient, easily controlled. This is a world of oppression where the Varn's power is absolute. The air is thick with their disdain for the humans they've conquered. Maya's existence is reduced to a life of menial labor, broken into moments of silence, punctuated only by the harsh commands of the alien overseers. Her fellow humans are treated as little more than slaves, driven to exhaustion and punished for the slightest infractions. The Varn believe in their supremacy, but Maya begins to see the cracks in their control. The injustices, the cruelty, they're all building to something. They're sowing the seeds of rebellion not just in the hearts of the humans, but in the very fabric of their regime. She feels it. This world, its air of brutality, its viciousness, is not invincible. The Varn's complacency will be their undoing, and Maya is the one who will strike the first blow. In the shadows of the labor camp, Maya makes her way to a small, inconspicuous corner, hidden from the eyes of her alien captors. Here, buried beneath the floorboards, is a small, hacked terminal, an ancient relic of Earth's underground resistance. The Varn think they've wiped out all traces of humanity's defiance, but Maya has kept hope alive. This terminal is a link to the last remnants of Earth's fight. She presses a few keys, her hands shaking slightly as she watches the screen flicker to life. There's a message waiting for her, one that sends a chill down her spine. We found it. Project Fury still exists. The words hang in the air, like a beacon of light in the darkness. Project Fury, an ancient, powerful weapon capable of leveling the playing field, of giving humanity the strength to strike back. It's the key to their revenge. For Maya, it's the moment everything changes. No longer just a medic, she's now the bearer of Earth's last hope. The flames of vengeance that have smoldered inside her for so long are beginning to rise. The Varn have no idea what they've unleashed. Maya stands alone in her cell, the dim light casting long shadows across her face. The message from the Resistance burns in her mind. Project Fury, the weapon, the key to humanity's revenge. But with it comes a decision, a heavy,
painful decision. Maya's emotions are a torrent, her mind a battlefield. She is torn between her desire for vengeance and the memories of the family she lost. What kind of person would she become if she unleashed this power? Can she justify the destruction, the death that will inevitably follow? Her hand trembles as she presses her palm against the cold metal of the wall. It feels like a release, like the fury that has been boiling inside her for so long is finally free. They destroyed everything. They took everything. And now, it's her turn. I won't let them win, Maya whispers to herself, her voice steady, unwavering. In this moment, she embraces her fury. She will become the weapon. She will become Earth's vengeance. The Varn continue to underestimate humanity, dismissing them as weak, as nothing more than ants beneath their boots. They believe the human spirit is broken, that the rebellion is nothing more than a fleeting whisper. What they don't understand is the true nature of humanity's strength, its ability to adapt, to fight when it seems all hope is lost. As Maya uncovers the truth of Project Fury, the Varn's ignorance becomes their greatest flaw. They are blind to what humanity is capable of. They think they've crushed humanity's will, but Maya knows better. Humanity doesn't just survive, it fights. And when humanity fights, it does so with a fury that the Varn cannot fathom. The storm is coming, and when it strikes, the Varn will have no place to hide.
The time has come. Maya stands before the terminal once again, the decision before her: to strike now, to risk everything, to finally unleash the fury of Earth upon the Varn, or to wait, to protect what little humanity remains in the shadows. She closes her eyes, thinking of the people she's lost, of the destruction that has scarred her planet. She thinks of her family, her mother, her father, her brother, all gone because of the Varn. Her anger flares, but so does something else, a sense of duty, a responsibility to the world she once knew, to the people who sacrificed everything for a future they could never see. "This is it," she whispers. Her fingers hover over the keys. She types the final command, and the resistance message blinks back. Initiate Project Fury. The world trembles. Earth's fury is about to be unleashed. The Varn Dominion had never been a subtle foe. Their alien fleet stretched across the cosmos, a harbinger of destruction. But what they were about to unleash on Earth would be far more insidious than any weapon of war. Inside their flagship, the HFY, a sinister device pulsed with dark energy, the mind control signal that would crush humanity's will to resist. It was a cosmic-level weapon designed to hijack the very core of human existence, their autonomy. The signal was so powerful, it would render humanity helpless, incapable of defiance or rebellion. Once unleashed, Earth's once proud inhabitants would become mere puppets, enslaved under the weight of their own suppressed wills. As the Varn fleet moved closer to Earth, the dread of what was coming filled the air. It wasn't just war they had won, it was humanity's spirit they had crushed. There would be no resistance once the signal was activated. The galaxy watched in eerie silence, waiting for the final act. For the humans, it was a race against time. Without a way to fight back, Earth would become just another conquered world, its inhabitants reduced to nothing more than the Varn's compliant slaves. The stakes had never been higher. Humanity's hope flickered, but with each passing moment, it seemed like a distant dream. Amid the mounting tension, Maya, a survivor with a dark past, stumbled upon a secret buried deep within the Earth's remains. Project Fury, an orbital weapon designed to end the Varn's reign, had never been launched. It had been hidden, abandoned beneath the ruins of her homeland, left unfinished and forgotten. This revelation was both a blessing and a curse. There was still a chance to turn the tide, to strike back against the Varn, but it came with a deadly cost. The weapon was incomplete, its systems fragmented and unstable. To reactivate it, Maya would have to navigate the ruins of her homeland, now a desolate, alien-infested wasteland.
The discovery sparked a glimmer of hope, but it was a fragile one. The road ahead was uncertain, and the risks were enormous. Maya stood at a crossroads, the weight of her decision heavy upon her. Would she attempt the impossible and activate Project Fury, or would she accept that humanity's fate was sealed? The stakes were clear. Her discovery could either save Earth or doom it forever.
The gravity of the situation pressed in on Maya, like the very air she breathed. If the Varn succeeded in deploying the mind control signal, humanity's will to resist would be extinguished forever. But if Project Fury could be reactivated, it might be the weapon that could destroy the Varn's control. It was the last hope for humanity, but it came at a terrifying cost. Maya knew that the chances of survival were slim. The weapon was incomplete, the process to activate it was obscure, and the Varn's forces were closing in. Each step toward Project Fury was a step into the unknown, where failure meant certain death, both for her and for humanity's future. The emotional burden of this decision threatened to overwhelm her. Was it worth the risk? Was it worth dying for a cause that might not even succeed? The decision tore at her very soul. Every moment of hesitation felt like a betrayal to those who had fallen before her, those who had given everything in the fight against the Varn. But Maya wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. She was fighting for the soul of humanity itself. Once, Maya had been a medic, a healer, someone who sought to preserve life even in the darkest times. But the horrors she had witnessed, the destruction of her world, had left scars deeper than any wound she could mend. No longer could she simply hide behind the guise of survival. The time had come to face the truth. The Varn were not just invaders. They were destroyers of everything humanity stood for. Maya's transformation was brutal. She rejected the idea of surviving for survival's sake. She would no longer cower in the shadows. The ghosts of the fallen called to her, urging her to fight back, to avenge those who had lost everything. She made her choice in the dead of night, with the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. She was no longer just a medic. She was a warrior, a force of vengeance. Her path was clear, to reclaim humanity's future, no matter the cost. The internal struggle between self-preservation and righteous fury burned in her veins. The transformation from a passive survivor to a relentless avenger was complete. As Maya ventured into the ruins of Earth, the world outside was a silent testament to humanity's fall. Once a thriving, bustling planet, it now lay in ruin, a shadow of its former glory. But amid the desolation, there were sparks of life, pockets of resistance that still fought back against the Varn's oppressive rule. These resistance groups were small, fractured, and often invisible to the enemy, but they were there, hidden in the remnants of cities, in the forgotten corners of the world. Maya moved through the ruins cautiously, her every step a reminder that the Varn were never far behind. Yet the remnants of human strength were undeniable. The whispers of rebellion, the secret operations, the small victories over the invaders. Each one was a testament to humanity's refusal to be entirely subdued. Maya's journey was not just a physical one. It was a journey through the shattered soul of a world that still clung to the hope of resistance. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, Maya uncovered the half-complete Project Fury. The weapon was a marvel of ancient technology, capable of altering the course of the war. But it was incomplete, its systems damaged by years of neglect and the ravages of the Varn's invasion. Every step Maya took toward reactivating it was a gamble, one that could either end in victory or total annihilation. The weapon's activation systems were cryptic and fragmented, and the alien forces controlled much of the area. Maya had to rely on her ingenuity and limited knowledge of the weapon's design to navigate the perilous ruins. The more she uncovered, the more dangerous the mission became. Failure wasn't just a personal loss, it was the final death knell for humanity. But Maya pressed on, driven by the hope that somewhere within the weapon's decaying systems lay the key to Earth's salvation. Time was running out. The Varn's mind control signal was set to launch, and each passing second brought humanity closer to total subjugation. Maya knew she had no more time to waste. Every moment spent in the ruins searching for Project Fury was a moment the Varn used to tighten their grip on Earth. The danger was constant. Alien patrol drones roamed the area, and every step Maya took risked triggering a deadly trap. The pressure mounted with each ticking second. Maya could feel the weight of her decision pressing down on her. Every choice she made could lead to either victory or total defeat. She was running out of time, but there was no turning back now. The countdown had begun, and only one thing was certain: failure was not an option. At the edge of the ruins, Maya faced her final decision: escape and live another day, or risk everything to fight for humanity's future. The choice was agonizing. To fight was to embrace the unknown, to face death head-on in a final desperate bid for survival. To run was to accept defeat, to live in fear and uncertainty forever. But Maya had already made her decision. She was no longer running, she was fighting, not just for herself, but for all of humanity. This was her moment, the moment she would either ignite the spark of rebellion or watch the world burn. The choice was made. The fight for humanity's soul had begun. Maya's boots crunched over the glass-like remnants of shattered skyscrapers, the earth beneath her scorched and cracked. The skies above were perpetually veiled in a toxic haze, the air thick with the acrid stench of chemicals. This was Earth now, unrecognizable, barren, a poisoned husk of the vibrant planet it once was. The ruins stretched for miles, an unforgiving testament to the devastation wrought by the Varn Dominion's invasion. A thin wisp of wind stirred the radioactive dust, scattering the bones of forgotten civilizations across the cracked streets. Nature's pulse had been corrupted, the landscape now a deadly game of survival. Every corner Maya turned was filled with danger. Alien patrol drones hovered overhead, their scanning beams sweeping the desolate landscape. The Varn's cold, unyielding presence could be felt in every corner of this forsaken world. A sharp screech sounded as one of the drones passed too close, but Maya was quick, darting behind the twisted remains of an old building. Her heart raced, but her movements were steady, trained. She couldn't afford to be caught. The Varn had no mercy for the last remnants of humanity.
Tension gripped her chest as the drone's shadow passed, its sensors humming like a predator searching for prey. The silence was broken only by the distant hum of alien raiders, scavengers who roamed the ruins, hunting for survivors. Maya kept her head down, every instinct alert. She had to keep moving. Each step forward was an act of defiance, a refusal to give up in the face of the overwhelming odds. The price of survival was high, but she was determined to pay it. Her path took her past the shattered husks of once great cities, and with each step, the weight of humanity's fall settled deeper into her bones. The world was dying, but Maya's resolve burned bright. She would not let Earth's last hope fade into oblivion. The rusted remnants of Earth's military complex loomed ahead. Maya could almost feel the ghosts of the soldiers who once trained here. Where hope had thrived, now only the hollow echoes of defeat remained. As she stepped into the old command center, the air felt heavier. The dim, flickering lights cast long shadows over the broken machinery, remnants of a time when the fight was still winnable. At the far end of the room, slumped in a chair, sat Boone. His once commanding presence had withered, replaced by a man worn down by too many battles, too many losses. He was no longer the strong, decisive leader Maya remembered, but a broken shell of the warrior he had been. His left arm was gone, a gruesome reminder of the war's cost, and his eyes, dark and haunted, held bitterness that could crush the hope of anyone who looked too deeply. Maya. Maya's voice broke the silence, soft but firm. He looked up slowly, his gaze cold, distant. The old camaraderie was gone, replaced by resignation. Maya, the medic, he muttered, his tone flat. What's left to fight for, huh? Earth's a wasteland. We lost. We're all just surviving. Her chest tightened at the sight of him, her old friend broken by the very war they had fought together. But Maya's resolve hardened. We can fight again, Boone. There's a way to turn this around. I need you. He scoffed. his good hand gripping the edge of the chair. "A way? You think you can bring back what's lost? There's no more fight left in me." She stepped closer, her voice steady, despite the uncertainty swirling within her. "I know you can, Boone. We can rebuild. Together." The silence between them was thick, the weight of his grief pressing down on her. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he sighed, his shoulders slumping in defeat. "Maybe you're right, but I'm not the man I was, Maya. I don't know if I can help you." Her eyes locked with his, unwavering. "I know you can. We can rebuild."
Together. The warehouse was a mess, a chaotic blend of half-constructed gadgets, wires snaking across the floor, and tech salvaged from the ruins of Earth's cities. Tess was crouched over a makeshift workbench, her fingers flying over a holographic interface. Despite the crumbling world around her, she moved with an energy that was almost infectious. To her, the ruins were just raw material for her next project. "Maya, you finally made it!" Tess's voice rang out with a mix of excitement and mischief as she looked up, her eyes sparking with wild brilliance. She was barely 15, but her mind was sharp, her hands quick. If anyone could help restart Project Fury, it was Tess. Maya watched her for a moment, amused by the whirlwind of youthful energy before her. "It's good to see you, Tess," she said, stepping forward. "We need your help. The fight isn't over yet." Tess grinned, flashing Maya a wink. "Fight? With a bunch of old tech and a broken world? Sounds like a good challenge." Her gaze darted over to Boone, who was standing in the corner, arms crossed. "Boone, still alive and grumpy, I see." Boone's lips twitched, but he didn't respond. Tess was the spark of life that Earth had been missing for so long. She was brash, unafraid, and unburdened by the cynicism that weighed down so many others. But Maya knew that Tess's brilliance was a double-edged sword. Her youthful optimism could easily lead them into danger if they weren't careful. "We've got one shot at this, Tess. We need to activate Project Fury. Can you do it?" Tess grinned like a kid on the edge of an adventure. "Can I? Hell yeah. But it won't be easy. You don't rebuild a doomsday weapon with duct tape and hope." "Then let's get to work," Maya replied. As the days wore on, Maya's transformation became evident. No longer the timid medic who patched up wounds and offered comfort, she had evolved into something much darker, a woman driven by a burning desire for revenge, for the survival of humanity. Each decision she made was harder than the last, and her allies began to see the change in her. Boone watched her closely, skepticism still clouding his thoughts. He had seen what war did to people. He'd seen good men turn into monsters, and he wasn't sure if Maya's new resolve was a sign of strength or the first step down a dangerous path. "You're not the same, Maya," he said one evening, his voice low. She met his gaze, unflinching. "I'm the same person, but I'm not the same soldier I was before Earth fell. I've learned that sometimes to survive, you have to fight like them." Tess, always the optimist, looked between them. "Well, as long as we're still fighting on the same side, I'm in. Whatever it takes." Boone looked at Maya for a long moment, weighing his options. Finally, he sighed, the remnants of his old self resurfacing. "You've got my help. Just don't make me regret it." The stakes were growing higher by the hour. Maya stood in the makeshift command center, the holographic display showing a map of Earth's ruins. The pieces of the puzzle were coming together, but there was one thing she hadn't told them yet. The last key to Project Fury's activation. "I know how to activate it," she said, her voice steady. "But we need 3 DNA keys." Boone raised an eyebrow. "I know mine is one, but who else?" Maya hesitated before revealing the third piece of the puzzle. "Zevran." "Zevran?" Tess repeated, incredulous. "You mean the Varn defector?" "Yes, he's the third key." The room fell silent, the weight of Maya's revelation settling over them like a heavy fog. Boone's face darkened. "I don't trust him, Maya. He's an enemy no matter what he says." "I know, Maya replied, her voice hard. But we have no choice. Without him, Project Fury is just a dream. The remnants of Fort Orpheus lay before them. Once a testament to Earth's military might, now a crumbling monument to humanity's last stand. The team moved like shadows through the ruined corridors, careful not to disturb the dust that settled thick on the floors. Their breaths echoed unnervingly in the stillness, but they didn't dare speak. Each footstep carried the weight of their mission, the destruction of the Varn Dominion's influence, a task that required absolute precision. The structure itself was a contradiction. Its outer shell, cracked and weathered, contrasted with the sleek, futuristic technologies buried within. Armed drones patrolled the air, and flickering holographic barriers lined the walls. Defenses once thought impenetrable. Yet this was their only chance to use Earth's final weapon, Project Fury, an enormous railgun capable of launching a tungsten rod at near light speeds. If successful, it could bring down the Varn's flagship and shift the balance of the war. Maya moved ahead, eyes scanning every corner, every shadow. The silence was unnerving, but the deeper they went, the more ominous the atmosphere grew. The weight of the weapon's power bore down on them, humanity's last hope, glowing faintly ahead, almost as if it were beckoning. "Tess, can you override the outer sensors?" Maya whispered. Her voice was tight with tension. Tess was already at the console, fingers flying across the interface. "Almost there," she muttered, sweat beading on her forehead. "Give me a minute, just a minute." With every passing second, the sound of distant footsteps grew louder, and the hum of the Varn's high-tech surveillance systems buzzed ominously around them. Every noise seemed amplified in the stillness. Tess's fingers paused as she hit the final key, and the lights above them flickered, then went dark. "They're blind," Tess said, her voice steady. "For now." They moved forward, the feeling of impending discovery ever present. They were deep within the fortress now. The massive barrel of Project Fury loomed ahead, a twisted metal titan of human ingenuity. "Steady," Maya murmured. "We're almost there."
The hum of the railgun intensified, signaling that the system was priming for activation. But the moment the weapon's power surged, the entire facility was shaken by a violent tremor. The Varn Dominion had detected the energy spike. Boone was the first to react. He dropped to a knee and aimed his drone deployment device toward the hallway, releasing small automated defense drones that whirred to life. "Get ready, they'll be here soon," Boone said through gritted teeth. Tess worked quickly at a nearby terminal, hacking into the orbital sensors to delay their targeting systems. She had barely enough time to reroute the signal before the first wave of Varn forces burst through the doors. The battle began in a cacophony of gunfire, explosions, and screams. The Varn were relentless, elite soldiers encased in adaptive armor, their weapons nearly silent but devastating. The team responded with equal ferocity. Maya unleashed a rapid barrage of plasma bolts, while Tess hacked enemy drones and turned their weapons against them. Boone deployed trap after trap, slowing the Varn advance as much as possible. But they were outnumbered and time was slipping away. "We need to buy more time," Tess shouted, her fingers a blur over the interface. "I've got your back," Boone yelled, setting up another drone barricade. The Varn pressed forward, forcing the team to fall back to a more secure position. The magnitude of what they were up against, an entire army, was dawning on them. Yet the team held strong, defying the odds. They had one goal: to keep the railgun firing. Amidst the chaos, Maya and Zevran moved like two halves of the same whole, their movements synchronized with military precision. Their goal was clear: the firing core, but every step took them further into danger. Zevran, his breath coming fast and heavy, glanced over at Maya. "You're pushing too hard. We can't lose you now." Maya didn't respond. The mission was all that mattered. "We don't have time to slow down." Just as they turned a corner, a Varn soldier appeared, and Zevran instinctively threw himself in front of Maya. The blast hit him square in the chest, sending him crashing to the ground. Blood seeped from his wound, his breath shallow and labored. "Zevran!" Maya cried, her heart pounding in her chest. Zevran weakly lifted a hand. "Go! Complete the mission!"
Tears blurred Maya's vision, but she clenched her jaw and fought to stay composed. With urgency surging through her veins, she pulled Zevran into a safe alcove. She looked at him one last time, her eyes hardening with determination. "I'll finish this, I promise." Maya stood before the control panel of the railgun, her heart racing. The weapon was primed, but her gaze was fixed on a different sight, an approaching shuttle full of prisoners caught in the firing line. Her mind swirled with conflicting thoughts. If she fired now, the prisoners would perish, but the Varn fleet would be obliterated, and Earth would have a chance to survive. But could she live with that choice? A voice echoed in her mind, Zevran's. "Do what's right. Earth's future depends on it." But Maya's conscience weighed heavily on her. These weren't soldiers. They were innocent people, stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time. The seconds ticked away and the pressure grew unbearable. Maya closed her eyes for a moment, searching for clarity. "I can't," she whispered.
Maya's hands trembled, but her resolve hardened. She couldn't let the opportunity slip away. The prisoners' lives were important, but humanity's future was on the line. She overrode the safety protocols with a single keystroke and recalculated the shot trajectory. With her heart in her throat, she aimed directly for the Varn flagship, adjusting the coordinates just enough to avoid the shuttle. The weapon hummed ominously. "Everyone, brace yourselves," Maya said, her voice cracking with the weight of her choice. The railgun charged, the sound of its activation reverberating through the facility. Her eyes locked onto the screen as she prepared for the shot that would define everything. The shot fired with the force of a small star erupting. The tungsten rod rocketed through space at near light speeds, tearing through the Varn flagship's command center and obliterating their chain of command. Simultaneously, the shuttle veered clear, spared from destruction by inches. The magnitude of the blast was beyond comprehension, a moment of devastation that rang across the galaxy. The Varn's forces were crushed, their ability to retaliate gone in an instant. The team watched in awe, the silence that followed a testament to the power they had unleashed. But the cost was clear. Zevran's condition was critical, and Maya knew that despite the victory, a shadow lingered over their success. Amid the ruins, Maya surveyed the aftermath. The ground trembled beneath her feet and the sky above seemed to hum with the energy of their victory. But the battle had taken its toll. She turned to the survivors, her voice steady but full of fire. "You wanted to see what Earth could do. You should have left her standing." The words were a declaration, a statement of humanity's indomitable spirit. And though Earth had won, the war was far from over. In the quiet aftermath, Maya stood at the precipice of Earth's future. Zevran was recovering, but the price of victory was etched into her soul. Earth's survival had come at great personal cost. But there was hope. The battle was over, but the fight for Earth's freedom had only just begun. Maya looked toward the horizon, knowing that the dawn of a new era had begun, and for the first time in a long time, humanity had something to hold on to. A future. The aftermath of Earth's audacious stand against the Varn Dominion reverberates across the galaxy. The destruction of their flagship, the Imperius, a symbol of their indomitable power, sends shockwaves through every corner of their empire. The Varn Dominion, once an unchallenged force, now teeters on the brink of collapse. Their once feared fleets scatter, their once mighty generals retreating into the shadows. As news of Earth's defiant stand spreads, it becomes more than just a military victory. It becomes a beacon of hope. Rebellions ignite across human-controlled camps, colonies once oppressed by the Dominion, now rising in defiance. The symbolic defeat of the Imperius has sparked a flame of rebellion that refuses to die. The image of Earth's ragtag fleet facing down the seemingly invincible Varn has galvanized the disillusioned, the downtrodden, and those who longed for freedom.
In the corridors of rebel ships, where once only fear of the Varn prevailed, there is now only an overwhelming sense of purpose. Troops, human, alien, and defector alike, cheer for the victory, but also wonder what comes next. The enemy has retreated, but the war is far from over. The echo of Earth's victory only amplifies the uncertainty of what the future holds.
Every system liberated brings new challenges, new enemies, new power struggles, and new moral dilemmas. But in this moment, humanity has shown that they are no longer the underdogs, and the galaxy is watching. Maya stands in the quiet of the war room, her battle-scarred body a testament to the brutal fight that earned her the title of Angel of Fury. She's the face of Earth's resilience, the symbol of defiance against the overwhelming Varn forces, but she wants no part of it. The people across the galaxy revere her, seeing her as a savior, the mythical figure who led the charge. But Maya knows better. Her limbs ache, her body heavy with the weight of her injuries. The memories of those she lost, of the sacrifices made, linger in every breath. Every time her name is whispered, every time a new victory is credited to her, it feels like a weight pushing her further into a corner. The title of Angel doesn't fit her. She's no savior. She's just someone who fought to survive. Boone and Tess are her anchor. In their presence, she doesn't have to be the symbol of hope for others. She's just Maya. Still, as they leave the ruins of Fort Orpheus, Maya's heart is heavy. She carries not just her own scars, but the burden of leading humanity into the next phase of the war. The battle against the Varn may have shifted, but the war is far from over, and Maya knows her true test lies ahead. Earth is standing at the crossroads of a new era. The victory over the Varn Dominion is a monumental achievement, but the true challenges lie in what comes after. The destruction of the flagship gave the galaxy a glimpse of humanity's potential, but the road ahead is fraught with peril. Earth's alliances with rebel factions are fragile, and trust is something that cannot be bought with victories alone. The question on everyone's mind: will this victory be the first step in humanity's freedom, or will it lead to more bloodshed and betrayal? Earth's people must rebuild, not just their homes, but their sense of purpose. The devastation of the war has left deep scars. The political landscape is shifting, as former enemies are forced into uneasy alliances. The economy is in ruins, the social fabric torn apart by years of conflict. But in this moment, there is a glimmer of hope. The galaxies are watching, waiting to see if Earth can rise from the ashes. Maya and her team have led humanity to this point, but the future remains uncertain. The true battle for Earth's freedom is just beginning, and every victory earned in the galaxy is tempered by the harsh realities of rebuilding a shattered world.
Zevran, once a loyal soldier of the Varn Dominion, is now an outsider, recovering from the wounds of battle. His transformation from enemy to ally has not been easy. Every inch of his broken body aches with the reminder of the decision he made to side with Earth. Maya's words echo in his mind. You didn't switch sides, you finally picked one. But the weight of those words doesn't lift his guilt. He looks at the human soldiers around him, Boone, Tess, and finds a strange sense of belonging among them. They see him not as the enemy he once was, but as an ally in the fight for freedom. Yet, despite their acceptance, Zevran struggles with his identity. How can he reconcile the horrors he committed under the banner of the Varn with his desire to fight for Earth? He is caught between two worlds, both of which have cast him aside. As he begins his physical recovery, Zevran's mind works through the turmoil inside him. There's no simple redemption, no easy forgiveness. But with every passing day, he begins to understand. This is the price of change. To truly pick a side, to stand with humanity, means embracing not just victory, but the cost that comes with it. The battle against the Varn is not over. Despite the destruction of the Imperius, Earth is far from safe. The Varn's retreat is only temporary. This fragile peace is a brief lull before the storm. Maya, Boone, and Tess know that the victory, while sweet, is not a permanent solution. The enemy is not vanquished. They are regrouping, recalibrating, and plotting their next move. Humanity's fight for freedom is far from complete. There are still those within Earth's own ranks who question the alliances forged during the rebellion. The tension between factions is palpable. The cost of the war is reflected in the faces of every soldier. exhaustion, sorrow, and a deep, haunting fear that their moment of triumph is fleeting. As Maya and her team prepare for what's next, they reflect on the journey they've taken. The road ahead will be long, fraught with danger and uncertainty, but they understand one thing: they cannot afford to rest. Earth's freedom will require every ounce of their strength, their will, and their unwavering belief in the fight ahead. As Maya leaves the ruins of Fort Orpheus with Boone and Tess, she reflects on the legacy she is leaving behind. The hero war, the mythical figure, the Angel of Fury, these titles feel foreign to her now. Maya knows that her true purpose is not to be glorified, not to be remembered for her battles, but to fight for humanity's survival. She is no longer the vulnerable survivor she once was. Maya has grown, not just as a soldier, but as a leader. The weight of her decisions, the lives lost, and the choices she made have shaped her understanding of what it means to fight for something greater than oneself. The path ahead is uncertain, but Maya understands now that her legacy is not in the battles won, but in the fight for humanity's future.
With the Varn Dominion's strength shattered, Earth's role in the galaxy is transformed. Humanity is no longer a forgotten species, relegated to the fringes of galactic politics. Earth stands at the forefront of the rebellion, its victories reverberating through the galaxy like a beacon of defiance. The newly united human colonies are stronger than ever, though the tensions between them remain. There are still factions that disagree on the best path forward, but the victories earned in the past have given humanity a sense of unity, a sense of purpose. Earth's place in the galactic rebellion is now secure, and humanity is beginning to see itself as a key player in the struggle for freedom. Yet the war is far from over. The retreat of the Varn is not the end. It is the beginning of a new phase in humanity's fight for survival. Maya, Boone, Tess, and Zevran, each with their own scars, each with their own burdens, now look to the future with a shared understanding. The fight continues. Earth's role in the rebellion is just beginning, and the path ahead is as uncertain as ever. But one thing is clear: humanity will never stop fighting for its freedom. The wind howled across the barren landscape, stirring dust and debris around the twisted remnants of a once proud city. But in the center, where the earth had been scorched and the skies were forever scarred, stood a monument, a gleaming structure of twisted metal. Its base was solid, forged from the very barrel of the weapon that had brought Earth's fury upon their enemies. Its surface reflected the light, standing tall like a giant finger pointing to the heavens. Time had worn it down, burn marks from battle, cracks along the edges, but it was a testament to defiance, a symbol of Earth's unyielding spirit. The monument, stark against the broken city behind it, stood as a reminder Earth was no longer a planet to be overlooked. The Varn Dominion had underestimated them, and now they were remembered as the home of a people who rose from the ashes, who fought back, and who carved their place in the galaxy. The monument would stand for generations, a tribute to those who sacrificed, to the fallen heroes, to the fighters who were gone but not forgotten. In the shadows of the great ruins, it represented something more than just victory. It was humanity's pride, forever etched in the fabric of the universe. The child stood in awe before the holographic wall, his small face tilted up, wide-eyed. It flickered softly in the dim light, revealing the image of Maya Cross. Her face worn with battle, eyes fierce with determination. Time had weathered her once radiant smile, but the legend of her still burned bright. "Who was she?" he whispered, his voice barely a breath. Behind him, the crowd murmured, a quiet chorus of reverence. Maya's face, projected against the cracked wall of the old city, was a ghost from another era. Her name had become a tale, a myth passed down through the years. The stories no longer spoke of the woman who fought for her people, but of the Angel of Fury, the symbol of defiance that inspired an entire generation. Her journey had shaped the course of history, but now, her legacy was one of timeless heroism. She had fought for freedom, for humanity's place among the stars, and now her image would endure, becoming part of the fabric of Earth's identity. The child's innocent question hung in the air, echoing not only his curiosity, but the deeper yearning for connection. The past was no longer a distant memory. It had become a living, breathing part of the future.
The child's eyes sparkled as he turned to his mother, still staring up at the projection. Who was she? His voice was filled with wonder, his young mind struggling to comprehend the stories of wars long past, heroes long gone. His mother, standing behind him, placed a hand on his shoulder. She smiled softly, knowing this moment would come. The generations who had fought in the war were gone, their faces fading from memory. The world they had saved was now the child's reality. But there was still a link between them, a thread connecting the past to the present. She could see the innocence in his eyes, the innocence that had never known war. To him, Maya was just a story, a legend, a distant figure. But it was a story he would learn to appreciate as he grew older, as the weight of history would eventually settle in his bones. Who was she? He asked again, louder this time, wanting to understand. His mother's gaze softened. She could see his innocence, his desire for clarity, and it struck her that this was the first generation that would carry the memory of sacrifice, but without fully understanding its cost. The mother knelt down beside her child, placing her hand gently on his head. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders, knowing the answer to his question wasn't just for him, but for every person who had come after the war. She showed them Earth's fury, she said softly. She showed them that no matter how hard they tried to break us, we would always stand up. No matter how many times they came at us, we would fight back. She was a part of us all. The strength of humanity isn't in our weapons. It's in our will to survive. The child looked up at her, still trying to grasp the meaning, but he could see something in her eyes, something he couldn't put into words. He understood in a way that Maya's fight was more than just battles won. It was about the refusal to bend, to surrender. It was about the spirit of the people, the unbreakable will that made Earth unique in the universe. The mother smiled, a deep sense of pride welling up inside her. She was a hero, and her legacy is in all of us. As the child turned away from the holographic wall, his mother's voice echoed softly in his mind. The future was still unwritten. The struggles Maya had fought through were just stories, legends. But for this new generation, the real fight was just beginning. The wars of the past had ended, but Earth's role in the galaxy was still to be defined. The war had been won, but freedom was never fully secured. The universe was still a dangerous place. The child, now walking away from the monument with his mother, looked up at the sky. The stars still twinkled above, distant and unyielding. A reminder that Earth's story wasn't over. It was still unfolding. And as long as they remembered what it took to get here, they would carry Maya's fury in their hearts. The future generation would face new challenges, new enemies, and new battles, but they would never forget. Earth's fury lived on. And the child, no longer just a child, walked forward, his steps full of promise and hope.